Good afternoon. My name's Benjamin Krieg, and I'm responsible for FutureLog for Oceania and the Global Account Manager for Strategic Accounts. And today we're just going to take the opportunity to give a high-level overview as to what FutureLog is and what FutureLog can do and what we could do for your business. So just, I guess, a few for the people that are live on the call. By all means, you're welcome to use the chat. You're welcome to use the chat functionality to ask for any questions, and we'll circle back to them either during the presentation or by the end. And we're looking for that session to be around 30 minutes. So FutureLog is a cloud-based procurement to pay solution. We've been around for 25 years. We first established in 1999 with headquarters in Switzerland, and we've got offices in Stuttgart, Paris, Dubai, Bangkok, Singapore, and Sydney. Sydney's been in operation for around 3 years. So we established the Sydney operation, which takes care of Oceania, around 2021. So overall, when we look at what our solution is we're a complete cloud-based procurement solution. Now, there's a lot of procurement solutions out there within the industry and across multiple industries. Where we're a little bit different is we are a dedicated hospitality-focused procurement solution. So what that means is that for any customer that wishes to use it, you don't need to worry about levels of standardization across multiple industries, and then it's not tailored or not able to perform, the very specific intricacies of what hospitality deliver. Because FutureLog is bespoke for hotels, for restaurants, for restaurant groups, there's a lot of functionality that is specific only to hospitality, and we really pride ourselves that the entire system's been built up. The other really important thing is with a lot of cloud-based systems, it's great for you to also be aware there's very little, there's actually no upfront costs. So yes, you've got your system set up, you've got your implementation costs. However, you don't need to buy any specific hardware. You don't need to have any servers. All that you need is to use your existing computers, your existing internet connection, and you can even use your personal mobile phones and tablets. So what that also means is with unlimited licenses and unlimited users, effectively your entire business infrastructure, more often than not, is already capable to move completely over to our platform with some setup. And because it is a native mobile app, what it also means is that the app is able to move more intuitively. Some systems say that they've got mobile functionality, but if you don't have a native mobile app, you don't get the benefits of push notification and a lot of the functionality that is embedded within ours. So for example, our mobile phone is able to use the camera in the tablets or mobile phones for barcode scanning functionalities, which is incredibly important for ordering, for stock taking, and for receiving. So when we refer to ourselves within a system as a procure-to-pay or a P2P system, what this ultimately means is we cover off the entire procure-to-pay solution. So from the time that you order it to the time that you're sending that file off to your finance system or your ERP system to facilitate accounts payable, we handle that entire gamut. And as we delve into the system in a little few minutes, you're actually going to see the detail that we cover off across a lot of those different areas. So on top of that, we of course have a dedicated recipe management module, a dedicated contract management module, and also a business intelligence module, because the expectation around reporting 5 to 10 years ago compared to now is very, very different. So we've got a fully automated reporting module that has real-time visualizations. So again, what we aim to achieve with a lot of our system is to provide a lot of efficiencies on what current businesses may be doing at the moment in a very manual environment, whether that's the tabulation or the compilation of a lot of reports, whether you're manually exporting information, data entry into Excel. What our system is able to do is to take all of that administrative burden out of your business, standardize, consolidate all of the information that you need, and also importantly, for groups that have multiple business units or venues that have multiple venues, and they can be across multiple states, or in a lot of instances, we also service a lot of customers that have a global presence or multi-country presence. We're able to consolidate and facilitate all of that information so you can then go through and negotiate and do all of your procurement needs. So when we look at the flow of how our system works, we have our ordering module. So the ordering module is going to cover off effectively everything in a single business, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a cafe, whether it's a pub, whether it's an international hotel. Everything that you ever need to order goes through our system. So instead of you logging into your food supplier, your meat supplier, your beverage supplier, your alcohol supplier, your laundry, your chemical supplier, so you might be sending 3 emails, making 2 phone calls, jumping into different portals of different websites. On their own, those portals might be very functional, but when you have to do that 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 times a day, it becomes a lot less efficient. There's different workflows, there's different functionality, there's different system capabilities. What we're able to do is put your entire purchasing history into our system and ensure that everything is done within FutureLog. And then it means that all of your orders are standardized, your approval flows within your organization are standardized, all of your purchase orders are sent out, and then you're able to have one single system for everything that you purchase. Within the ordering module, we've got a number of features, and I'll jump into the features in a moment. Once you've placed your order, then it goes into our inventory management module, and this is effectively how you're able to receive your stock. So this day and age, with a lot of challenges within supply chains, with suppliers and so forth, quite often than not, you're maybe not getting the full order that you've actually ordered. So what our system's able to do is recognize if you've ordered 10 boxes of something and you've only received 5 boxes of something, you therefore should only be invoiced for 5. You shouldn't be invoiced for your original order of 10. And in a lot of busy businesses, they're not always able to stay on top of that. You might have 10, 20, 30, in some instances, more than 100 invoices or deliveries a day. Our system's able to stay on top of that because, again, we've got a singular workflow for what you've ordered, what you've received, and then what you've been invoiced for. So inventory management serves a really important feature. The inventory management is also able to do incremental stock. So as you receive a box of soda, you're then able to then have that 24 cans of soft drink go into your storeroom. So again, it's a really basic scenario whereby you're not needing to manually work through what your storeroom, the system's automatically going to tell you what your stock on hand is, and a myriad of other features and functionality around inventory management. We've then got recipe management, and recipe management is a really, really important hospo business. So what our system is able to do is have automatic calculations around food cost, because we know what you've bought and we know what products make up the ingredients in your recipes. And whether that's for a house-made cocktail or whether that's for a special dish on the a la carte menu or even on a buffet line, or our system's able to identify that with an average calculation, we're also able to interface in with all modern point of sales. So that means is we take the daily sales feed and we're automatically doing menu engineering. So with that, there's a huge feature and a huge time saving around menu engineering. So at any one time, on demand, you're able to jump into the system and identify what's selling well and what's not. So a star, a puzzle, a dog, or a plow horse, those key menu engineering terms, all of that work is automatically done, and you've got the confidence that real-time price updates of what you've received from your suppliers is fed into the system. Our contract management module is one of a few modules that was recently released in the last 6 months. And simply put, this puts all of your invoices, or sorry, all of your contracts digitally into one system with expiry dates, renewal dates, confidentiality, and hierarchical setups. So simply put, every single contract that you may have in filing cabinets, stored on emails, stored on laptops, stored in around the business, you can load into one single depository. And again, using the mobile app, you're able to access that anywhere, anytime, at any one point in time, as well as get an automatic reminder, this contract's about to expire, this contract needs to be renewed. So again, you're not forgetting that there's a renewal clause with a 90-day rollover, and if you don't negotiate that prior, you could have a contract rolling over for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, which could be commercially unviable for your business. So again, having this contract management is a great way to digitize all of your contracts. E-invoicing. So this is an automated digital invoicing system. So what this enables it to do is every single one of your invoices would be fed through into our system. It's read with AI, large language methodology technology. And simply what it does is it reads all of the information from your invoices, it matches it through to your inventory module and your ordering module, and it's able to do 3-way matching automatically. And then in the event that there are any areas, you can go in, modify it, add it up, and then feed that through into your accounts payable system, whether that's Xero or SAP or Sage or whatever those products are. We're able to directly integrate into that. And from that perspective, you think about all of the paper that could be going in, invoices are coming through to 3 different emails, some are left on the loading dock, to have everything received again into a single system, but importantly match with what you've ordered and what you've received. It really, really tidies up quite a nice workflow into a singular system. And then on top of all of that, we have our business intelligence module. And what the business intelligence module is, as I've mentioned, it modernizes all of the reporting. So we've got over 50 reports within the system. And what that enables you to be able to do is at your fingertips within your mobile phone or within the system, you're able to jump in and have a look at really important information in real time. So this really enables you to be able to not only have all of that information at your fingertips, but because it's a Power BI enabled module, you're able to use what we call slices, and slices pull that information out and move it forward, as well as we've got some great visualizations that we'll be able to show you in a moment. So if I talk about some of the key features within the ordering module to begin with, what we do is we consolidate every single supplier that you have and all of their catalogs. So that could be a large consumable supplier with 10,000 supply items, or it could be a small bespoke bakery with 10 SKU items. But what we're able to do is standardize the terminology, add the images, add all of the identifying features, the unit cost, the pricing, and all of that relevant information, and place that into our system. So because of that, and because of the levels of standardization in the data that we upload for our suppliers, we're able to then provide a very, very good USP, or a really valuable USP, and that's a price comparison tool. So that knows that if you're buying this product of soft drink from this supplier versus the same product of soft drink from a different supplier, you don't need to check both suppliers. Our system automatically checks and tells you which one's cheaper. So this is a great way to really understand a true saving to any business, and that works for food, for beverage, for any single item within the system. And you never need to worry that there's duplicate items or different terminology used, because our team go through and standardize that. So even if the suppliers call the same product different phrases, different terms, different descriptions, we're able to standardize that and ensure that that's consistent across the business. We also have a full approval flow. So in many, many businesses, you want to maintain your cash flow. You want to make sure that the team's doing the right thing in placing the order. So what the approval flow allows your team to do is place purchase orders, but then that will cascade up depending on the dollar value and depending on the product that's being purchased through your senior management and or ownership. So again, the system's able to really provide a lot of benefits around controlling the orders, because once an order's been placed, if you've placed an order without an approval flow, or your team logs onto a portal and places an order, you're obliged and you need to pay that bill. Whereas if you get acknowledgement that a team's accidentally ordered 1,000 items instead of 100 items, the system is going to flag that and you're able to see that. So this is where some real benefits can occur, and we can avoid a lot of mistakes that can happen in busy operations. When we then go through to the inventory management, or onto the next phase, inventory management overall, what this enables you to do is, as I've mentioned, is to facilitate receiving, facilitate real-time stock incrementation, and take away a lot of the manual work that revolves around that. So we also have a great features. So some key features is the fact that using your mobile phone or a tablet device in your business, you're able to use the camera and interface in with that camera, and then use that camera as a barcode scanning device. So you can use that to order things, you can use that to receive things, and you can also use that during the stock taking process. Another great feature that we've developed is the ability to interface into Bluetooth devices. So Bluetooth thermometers, be it probe or infrared thermometers, can synchronize with a date and time and user stamp directly into the system. So for HACCP audit requirements, this is a great tool to be able to know exactly at the time and date that something was received and what it was received at. You've also got the ability to place things on scales. So again, you're not placing things on scales, going back, modifying it. The system's going to automatically amend the weight that's been received based around the fact if you just place it on the scales and synchronize that into the tool. Stock take in an online mode is actually online and offline mode is also very much a great feature. So what the stock take allows you to be able to do is you can walk around your business with a mobile phone, and that mobile phone knows everything that you've ordered, everything that you've received and everything theoretically that should be in that storeroom. You're able to count that directly. You don't have to go back to your desk, manually enter it into an information, send that off to somebody else within the business or to your finance team. So in real time, the second that you push send and authorize that stock take, you know what your stock take dollar value and stock on hand is for that storeroom. If there is an issue, you go back, reopen it, reevaluate it, recount it, and then reclose it. So again, you save a huge amount of time in manual processing. The digital invoicing module is quite self-explanatory. I've already touched on it a little bit, but very simply, you imagine every single invoice that you receive into your business, and it doesn't necessarily need to be an invoice that you've received or you've raised a purchase order or a purchase request for. It can be your phone bill, it can be your city council rates, it could be just a one-off bill that's come through from a tradesperson. The system's able to bring it in, identify it, reconcile the tax components, reconcile where it is. It searches to see if there's a purchase order. If there's not a purchase order, it then activates an additional approval flow for you to have the relevant person in your business approve that. So that could be your maintenance manager is going to approve a tradesperson's bill. It could be maybe finance team or somebody within the organization is going to validate the telephone bill. And so all of that information can flow through with automatic approval, acknowledgement. And importantly, through this entire system, all of the GL code or all of the accounting information is recorded. So the system is automatically going to know when you send that through to your accounting, what expense code or what GL code should go through to your finance system. So again, you don't need to go down at the end of the month and have your accounting team do, a whole heap of accounting work. You're able to go through and at any one time identify that this is allocated to food, this is allocated to beverage. And in a big venue that might have multiple outlets and multiple areas, the system will know that this is going to the main bar, this is going to the restaurant, this is going to administrative. So all the way the system is very, very intelligent and constantly learning to improve a lot of efficiencies. Contract management, as we touched on, is quite self-explanatory, but all of you operating in businesses would be well aware that day by day, it's very hard to stay on top of paperwork. It's really difficult to know where something is. Have you got the most current one? Searching through old emails, looking in filing cabinets, looking around the areas. If every time you get a contract, you simply upload it into our system, you identify what the expiry dates, what the key information is, so you can be outside of the business at any one time. You get a query, log onto your mobile phone, and you can look up all of the relevant information. And as I mentioned earlier, all of the expiry information, the rollover details, you're able to put that automatically in the system to give you a push notification to your phone or an email notification to help you aware. Recipe management, as we've mentioned, you can use within any parts of the business. So it doesn't necessarily only have to be food. It can be used in food and or beverage. It can even be used in retail shops and outlets within that is not selling food or beverage. So effectively anything that you order through the system and anything that you sell through a point of sale can have automatic menu engineering telling you what's the system, what are the items that you want to save, what the items you might need to revise the cost or the sales structure on, and what items maybe you should review whether you're going to discontinue selling them or you're going to continue on. And then when you also have a look at the fact that the system automatically identifies allergens and nutritional value, there's again huge time savings that can be delivered on top of the fact that it's a training tool, because all of the preparation steps, all of the photos, all of the plate up photos can also be included within the recipe management module. And then business intelligence, the final area to talk about is the modernization of all of our existing reports and some great visualizations that can help you with ownership reports, with monthly reviews, with quarterly reviews, and or your own internal team meetings. So this gives you a great idea about what the screen looks like, and all of these are real screen captures of our UX or our user experience. So as you can see here on the information, we've got a dedicated mobile phone workflow, and then the same workflow is then able to be produced, but with a slightly different format if you're using a larger screen. So it's really important for you to know that we've got dedicated front-end developers that work only on our mobile, as well as dedicated developers that work on our desktop or our tablet module. So what that means is every different device and different screen size, whether it's a small laptop or a large desktop monitor, you're able to have alternative workflows to optimize the ability for you to use the tool in the most efficient manner. So you're able to see from this perspective, you're able to jump in, order what you need. The images are uploaded from the supplier, the quantity, the unit, the dollar value, and the price comparison is all highlighted for you. And no longer are you ordering items by supplier, you're ordering items as you require, and then the system does the heavy lifting for you. The system is going to identify what the different prices are, and if on that instance, you haven't bought the best price. Inventory management, as we've touched on, is a really important feature, and what it is really able to serve is a huge amount of time saving in a lot of businesses. To have automatic theoretical stock on hand, you're able to have all of your inventory information in, you're able to review your receivings, you're able to review what you should be ordered. You're also at the end of the month able to see what's been ordered, but what yet has not been received. You might then choose to accrue those information and place those into the month. You're also able to then identify that maybe that delivery is not coming, and again, make real-time conscious decisions. And as you can see there, using the mobile phone scanning technology, using the camera or on a tablet, you're able to take barcode scanning straight off items and then feed that directly into the system to place an order, to do a stock take, and to receive an item. The recipe management, as you can see, it's a really great modern adaptation of recipe management. For those of you that may be familiar with older legacy systems, this is a great visual representation that needs almost no training at all. Your team's able to add all of the information in with played up images, with real images. You're able to see the costs, you're able to see the preparation steps, the allergens, additives, nutritional value, and a full recipe calculation. And the recipe calculation can also include information around payroll and other associated fixed costs within the business. So if you want to go beyond the simple food cost of delivering the dish, you can actually drill all the way down into payroll and other fixed costs around that. You can do recipes in a very streamlined fashion with no prep steps and nothing else, or you can go into a very detailed model and then use it as a training tool. So if you've got agency staff, if you've got new staff, if you're releasing a new menu, you're able to put absolutely everything you want. And because it also goes into our native app or a tablet, you could have a waterproof tablet sitting in your kitchen, and at any one time, if somebody wants to then review what's in that dish or how that works, they're able to see that in real time. The other great thing is your front end staff or your front of house staff, if a guest has a question about a recipe item or an allergen, they're able to jump directly into the system, look it up, and that information's going to be, so they don't have to walk from front of house to back of house, bother the busy kitchen brigade. They're able to, at any one time, look up and see exactly what the ingredients are, and importantly, the nutritional value and the allergens. If we then have a look at the digital invoicing, again, this is some great representation of how the invoicing system works. So every single system that's fed into the every single invoice that is fed into the system is able to be captured. The header information, the tax, the value, and all of that information is fed into the system, digitally recognized for a 2 or 3-way match, and can be set up for automated processing into accounts payable. However, most businesses like to at least eyeball and have a look at that. So you're able to jump in, have a look, identify, match that with receiving, send that off for additional approvals, where if everything looks good and all the GL code and accounting information has been set up, you're able to at any one time jump in, send that off, and then export that into your MYOB, your Xero, your SAP, your Sun, or whatever your related financial system is. Because you can also have that in your mobile phone, you can approve invoices on the go. You're able to also then match all of your payment runs with all of your system and your finance. But importantly, quite often, businesses don't allow many people to access the finance system outside of the finance department. What our system enables you and your team to do at any one stage, you can see exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's going on, what bills are coming through, what's been received, what's not been received. And you're able to then, from that perspective on, have enough conversation. So if a supplier calls you up and said, have you received this, or is there a problem, or is there any reason why you haven't paid me, you're able to go through the system and identify straight away where the current status is. So again, another way that we're saving you a lot of time without necessarily needing to go back and heavy administrative burden, as well as these day and age with a lot of ESG, a lot of carbon footprint, a lot of environmental commitments, to be able to go completely paperless for not only your orders, your purchase orders, your receivings, your stock takes, as well as your invoicing. You can only imagine the amount of paper, and importantly, if you're keeping it for tax records, the amount of archiving that you're able to save in having a complete digital cloud-based solution. So here's a few more screen captures that show the ability to review invoices. Have a look at what the invoice is like. At any one time, you can run them off, print them up on the screen, print them if you do need a hard copy. We've got compare mode, as you can see here. So it's got the invoice side by side with all of the information for you to facilitate. And as we've mentioned, all of the GL code or all of the accounting information is automatically tagged by the time it gets to the invoice, because we've got that information from the time that you raise the purchase order, and then that's validated at the time of receiving. CapEx management is another really important feature that a lot of businesses are taking advantage on. So what the CapEx module allows you to be able to do is create all of your capital expenditure requests. You can have alternative approval flows within the system. So you've then got dedicated CapEx that might go through to your owner, might go through to your manager, could even go through to some consultants. You're able to add multiple quotes, business update information, and all of that information is able to be populated and then kept and retained in one system. On top of that, we've also got decrementation available. So as that purchase order, or sorry, as that CapEx has been approved, and as you start receiving invoices, the system's going to then automatically tell you you've got a CapEx for $10,000. You've now received an invoice for $5,000. You've only got $5,000 remaining. If your team then tries to attach an invoice to that CapEx for $8,000, it's then going to trigger another approval and say you need to get approval for a further $3,000. So again, this is many, many ways that we've got all of this information in the standard system and improving a lot of your manual workflows. And the CapEx is also available in the mobile phone. So it's a really transparent way. And a lot of businesses, even with very modern systems, are still doing CapExes in a very manual process. And then finally, our business intelligence module. So as you can see, these are real-time screen captures and images of how the system's working in the mobile phone device as well as the desktop. So you've got all of that really important raw data that's available through the tabular view. But importantly, there's visualizations, graphs, and charts that you can use to make real-time business decisions at a high level or at a system overview. And importantly, if you've got multiple businesses and multiple businesses across maybe different cities, across different states, maybe even across different countries, you're able to look at a consolidated view or a micro view in that individual business to whatever you need. We've got more than 50 different reports available. And as we've mentioned, that recipe engineering report is a really key report that for any business with food and beverage, that's something that can save you a huge amount of time, because unfortunately, it's one of those reports that really busy businesses often don't have the time to be able to do. Contract management, we've touched on that a fair bit, but again, you can see a really easy user interface. You can see a traffic light system on expired, soon to be expired contracts. You're able to receive all of that and access that from your mobile phone anywhere, or actually your desktop or a laptop anywhere in the world. So again, the modernization and digitization of that contract management allows a lot of benefits. Budgeting expense management. So this is a module that's about to be released in the next month. And this is going to be a further addition to our existing system, which will enable you to not only when you're raising a purchase order, it will then also trigger notification that you are exceeding a budgeted tolerance for that expense code for that outlet or that department in that month and or year to date. So again, what our system is not about is to stopping you doing your job or stopping your team doing your job, but allowing great information to flow through in real time at any one stage to make good decisions. And overall, this budget and expense management is a great way to be able to do that. So as you can see, we also touch on and integrate in with all of the key partners in all of the key markets. And we've also got a dedicated integration team that is able to integrate in with any other point of sale or any other ERP or finance system that exists. And this is just a touch of a few of the main ones that we integrate with, but of course, there's a lot more. So I think in summary, I did want to keep it short and wanted to keep it concise, but hopefully today has been a good way to give you a bit of an introduction as to what FutureLog is able to deliver, the efficiencies and the administrative support that it's able to provide. And ultimately, no business too small could not take us up, because at the end of the day, we're also able to very much cater the system based around the business needs. So whether you've got 30 employees or you've got 3,000 employees, the system is able to scale depending on the complexity of your business, and we're able to definitely make a lot of improvements and enhancements along the way. So I want to take the time to thank everybody for the call. We've got our contact information at the end. So if anybody has any questions or queries, you're welcome to answer them in the chat right now. Or if not, by all means, you can reach out at any one stage. And I really appreciate everyone's time. Okay, so we've just got one question here. Okay. An issue that's come up in multiple times in our registration was the cost of changing tech. What's the best way to assess the current system for changeover? Okay. Look, so the question in summary is ultimately asking if I want to make a decision about if I want to make a decision about running into a digital solution, should I use a consultant? How do I assess it? What do I do? Look, I think the first step is always getting a presentation, working through with a company that is actually selling the problem or the on-seller that's selling the system. But definitely, depending on the needs of your business, consultants are a great way to get a very broad spectrum, and they can often do good comparisons, and they're constantly in the area. But I think what's most important is don't be afraid to actually undertake on your own side your own due diligence. And the most important thing that I say to all business owners is, by all means, you can have your team members work through what they need to do. They might be able to summarize that up, but you as a business owner or you as a business manager should take the time to review and ask the questions, because sometimes operational teams may have a fear that a tool's going to be used to push team members out or to streamline efficiencies in the wrong phase. What's really important for you to then identify and work through is to really see what benefits it could be at your business. Because when you're implementing a digital solution, change management does apply. It's not always easy. Sometimes there is some challenges that you need to face, particularly when you move from a very manual environment and then you move to a bit more of a structured environment. So it's important for you to be aware of what the benefits are and what is the long-term goal you want to achieve with a digital solution. Because in that instance, if you then don't understand what the long-term game is and why you're investing the time in those change management, you can sometimes lose sight as to what the system's able to achieve. Excellent. So look, I really thank everyone for their time today, and I hope that it's been beneficial, and hopefully look forward to having some of you reach out in the future. Oh, sorry, just one last question. Since FutureLog has multi-currency, look, the reality is there's no real limitations. We tailor the system for each current country's tax and different requirements and financial requirements. So simply as we enter into a new country, we're well aware of what is required to operate in that country, and we tailor it for that. So in every country they operate, it's actually not a limitation in one way, because we've got a global presence and a global reach. We're aware of what's happening in every country and multiple continents or every continent in the world. So because of that, sometimes we've got system functionality that may not have even been thought of by smaller companies that maybe only operate in Australia or Oceania, and we're able to give a lot more features and functionality into the market here. Excellent. So thank you everyone for your time, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.